Sunday night, it's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
Excellent. And I'm over in Connecticut. I have Muffler Mike. Mike, how are you?
I'm great.
Great. Look at that. Wow. That's a two-step of wow, I'm excited for this. It was great, man. It's going to be a fantastic show. Don't you worry, all. We got tons to cover this week. We have OJLL playoffs. We have MSL heading into playoffs and WLA heading into playoffs. We have all kinds of things going on outside of there. We have a statement from the NLL regarding a couple of things. We have awards that's been given out so far in summer ball as well. So hang out with us, if you will. But before we get rolling, just a reminder, everybody, that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, live across everywhere else too, really. It's live across Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. Also, we'll be putting stuff across TikTok as well. Remember to hit subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy all of our affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube, whether it be at Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, Streampunk Sports, or, of course, All Across All the Time, in which you will find retro games, interviews, our library of shows, as well as so much more. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Well, interesting. Eduardo is with us. Eduardo, welcome.
Hey, Eduardo.
Hey, Eduardo.
And we have Sweet Goldfinch tuning in from Orlando. Excellent. Thank you so much for following. Really appreciate you being
in.
Before we get really rolling, I do want to touch on this one, which came out from the NLL. And that, of course, is we were talking about this last week on what they were going to do. And in my eyes, worst case scenario is we're going to put everything back a month again. So you have roughly 10 days of free agency. The official statement is the National Lacrosse League announced today it is moving the start of free agency period from Saturday, August 1st to Tuesday, September 1st. So the league and its clubs may maintain flexibility surrounding membership matters and the 26-27 season. In other words, we don't have homes for two of our teams. We'd like to find homes for two of our teams. We'd like to keep 50 more jobs, and we're going to take a month to try and figure it out more so. Thoughts, guys? Mike, start with you.
That month's already down to 29 days, and realistically, it's not even 29 days. It's probably more like 21 because they're going to need probably a week's time to make announcements about moves and purchases and all of that. So all I can say is, yeah, let's hope it gets done because that's now you're talking about if for some reason it doesn't work out within 3 weeks, you've got to put together a dispersal draft and you have about 8 days to do it before that 10-day free agency period that has been reduced from basically a month and a half.
Yeah. Let alone the strongest draft we've seen in 10 years about to happen. And really everybody's future's up in the air. If we have dispersal drafts, where are these jobs going?
Yeah.
And, now granted, you're going to have probably the best teams you've ever seen in the NLL ever. But you're going to have a lot of guys who are out of work, and that's not good. Shawn, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and that's kind of where my thought process goes a little bit too, Gary. Is, pushing back free agency just starts running up against the draft as well. You're not going to have much time between free agency and the draft. And, I think Mike kind of hit it on the head. I mean, we can go up another month, but we need to start moving on what's happening with these two teams. It's an unfortunate scenario, but at some point these teams need to move on, and teams have to move on and have to have some clarity as to what the situation is, whether it's in dispersal draft or not for that matter. And that again, like that dispersal draft could, have a profound effect on free agency and who teams want to keep around and not want to keep around.
Absolutely. I think it has an immense thing to do with how they're going to draft and what they're going to do. Because if you got your free agency coming in, where you sit in a draft all of a sudden becomes, well, not as relevant as it was if you're trying to rebuild entirely through a draft. On the other hand, if you're going to lose guys, it doesn't give you a lot of time to kind of reevaluate your where your structure is going to be and how you're going to be drafting. There's a lot of, well, everybody's sitting at the tables now trying to figure it out, but we really, and if we don't wind up with teams in new homes, we got a bigger problem. And with the Olympics only a year and a half away, I'm strong closer to 2, but still, that's going to be gone in no time. And the world is watching now. And I'm sure that the Ravens are kind of licking their chops, going, every time Box screws up, we look better, and that's not a good look for lacrosse in general. That we have all these headaches continually, and I hate to bring it up again, but isn't it the old guard who was expanding, and it's all these teams that are kind of going by the wayside? Just saying. I don't know. It was the blueprint was solid. I really liked the blueprint of it being NBA or NHL owned teams getting teams so they can be decent tenants in their buildings and not the 4th or 5th choice to get a Tuesday afternoon game, right? But just for some reason or another, it just seems to be each one of these teams are the ones having the problems. So
I guess that's where I go. We keep talking about expansion, and I know, and I'm right with Gary when he talks about, being in favor of expansion. But again, it has to be with the right ownership, and we're seeing what happens when it's not done properly. It becomes a mess.
I do. My big thing, Shawn, on this one is I don't understand why we're going into markets that don't understand box at all. Fort Worth knew nothing about box. A few of these places that we're going to know nothing about box. Okay, we'll teach them. We're not in that position right now that we have all this time on our hands to start teaching a new sport if the people even want to gravitate towards it. We have places like Boston. We have places like Chicago. We have places like Detroit or Windsor, depending on which side of the border you want to be on. If you want to go on the Canadian side, you have places like Laval or Montreal. Quebec City is not far away from that. You have Winnipeg, you have Edmonton, you have places that know box that can fit box. It's about finding owners that are sustainable and want to be in there for the 5-year plan of building this team. Not by going into Idaho and going out, we're going to teach them. I don't see that being a solution that's viable.
No, I agree with that. I totally agree with that too, Gary, for sure. Yeah.
Mike, you on board with this, or?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I think my concern is more just what's with these ownership groups and what's holding things up.
Yeah. I'm really hoping against hope that it stays somewhere in the neighborhood of Philadelphia. I am hoping against hope that it stays in around Ottawa area or Laval or something of that sort where the fan base can still feel attached to these teams. I think that would be best case scenario. Am I getting a little bit more bewildered about it? Yeah. As every day goes by, my head scratches even a little harder because if it's going to work, let's make it a done deal. And enough with the drama and everything else, and wait for the drum roll in the last second, please. Not everything is going to wind up in good steeds like Rochester. Rochester is best case scenario. They got to stay in the home. They got a better owner, and they've put time, effort, energy. They've gone back to their old colors. They've looked for tradition, and to me, that's best case scenario. And I'm hoping more or less, like I said, hoping against hope that one or both of these franchises wind up in the same position as the Nighthawks did, because otherwise this could be catastrophic. But the next couple of weeks should be very interesting.
Rochester's in an interesting position. Them and Oshawa, they would be picking 1-2, I believe, if there was a dispersal draft, and if that dispersal draft is both teams, take your pick: Jeff Teed or Brennan O'Neill.
Yep, well, it's win-win.
Yeah.
That's win-win. But we're trying to stay away from dispersal drafts because something about the other 48 jobs that aren't going to be there.
I feel like that's the absolute. I mean, I think it was the same thing. That's the absolute worst case scenario. Is we have a dispersal draft for two teams. That's just that's suicide.
I agree.
Absolute suicide.
I don't think anything good can come of that. And that's we're trying to rebuild from the ashes, because then it all more or less burnt down. So let's hope that they can figure it out. And well, let's move on. Let's move on to happier things. MSL came out with awards this week. I know this is busy doing graphics for them, and well, as we figured, first and foremost, congratulations to the Oakville Rock bench staff. They got the Terry Sanderson Award for Coaching Staff of the Year. Well deserved. They finished second overall, and really had a great year when nobody expected them to do much. Congratulations to the Cyborg, Graham Kostiuk, with the Merv McKenzie Award for Most Valuable Defensive Player. He is an absolute stalwart, and ironically, he played the day after the Halifax Thunderbirds lost to the Toronto Rock. He was in the lineup for Six Nations. So you want to talk about dedication? That's dedication.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's missed a game all summer. And he is just the same thing you see in the NLL, you see in the MSL. That kind of intensity, style, leadership. So congratulations to Graham on that award. Alex Marinier for Most Valuable Player. And this one came kind of out of nowhere, really, originally. Nobody expected him to have the summer he had. He lit it up for Coburg this summer. Let's go even so much to say he had a game in which he had 14 points, 10 goals, 4 assists. Absolutely incredible. He wound up with 92 points on the year. And, well, that brings us to our next award, which was Goal Scorer of the Year. And that, of course, was Alex Marinier with the Buckle McDonald Leading Scorer Award, 92 points. Dane Smith was in second at 78. Now, the interesting thing, and we brought it up last week, was that McConvey, he came into Brampton probably 7 or 8 games from the end of the season. Didn't even play half a season. He wound up in 9th overall at 48 points. Imagine if he played a full year. And he was with Triolo with 48 points tied, both on Brampton. Imagine what stronger team Brampton, all those games they lost by a goal or two. They could have been a little further up in the standings. Maybe being part of that last-minute thing for the 3rd and 4th place teams that came down in the final week. Warren Hill. He is the goalie of the year, lowest goals against average, a 5.00 goals against average.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, a lot of that has to do with just how powerful that defense is in Six Nations, let alone how powerful that offense is in Six Nations. But him and Doug Jamieson both were just stalwart this year. So if you were able to get through all of that and took a shot on net, your chances of scoring were not good at all. But yeah, that was the awards this time around for the Major Series Lacrosse. Playoffs start on Tuesday. Hey, Brian, thank you for joining us
Right.
And, it came down to the wire. It came down to the last night. We'll get more into it when we talk about MSL. But, talk about, what a great schedule when it comes down to the game number 63 of 63 before you knew who was in the playoffs. That's pretty cool. Now, Shawn, you were telling me that the WLA came out with awards this week as well.
Yeah, I can quickly go over those. Goaltender of the year, Chris Origlieri for Victoria, .874 save percentage and 5.66 goals against average. Really good numbers there, and of course leading the league in both those categories. Victoria really kind of cleaned up. Bruce Alexander with the Shamrocks named Coach of the Year. Zach Mans, the top scorer with 90 points to lead the league this season. Your 3 stars award winner, so this is the guy with the most 3 stars nominations throughout the season. Again, Victoria Shamrocks, Marshall King. The Shamrocks, Derek Lloyd was your unsung hero. Your winner for the Value and Sportsmanship Award was the Maple Ridge Burrards, Drew Andre. And the Coquitlam Madnax, Sean Krewakin, was named the Defender of the Year for the WLA.
Nice. The Unsung Hero of the Year award. If we're giving them an award, aren't they sung now?
Oh, they are now.
Just putting it out there, Those kind of things catch my attention. Jumbo shrimp, glittering. Hero, here's your award. But hey, congratulations to everybody in both leagues. Great summer overall. It was an absolute pleasure covering it. Mike, if anybody's keeping score, I think I'm at today was game number 118. Not bad. Not bad. We've covered a few games. We've put a few miles on the old vehicles. So we're getting there. Excellent. Could be a long drive to Edmonton, though. Oh, boy. No airlines anymore, right?
Yeah.
WestJet, she's on strike, so. And that's over land. This guy.
Good luck through the prairies.
Yeah, if you see me there kind of, paddling on the side of the road. Anyways, why don't we go over to a little bit of Western junior stuff, Shawn?
Yeah, you bet.
And we must be coming to the end of all of that.
We are into the finals now in the BC Junior A. Game 1 between the Junior Adnax and the Junior Shamrocks got underway on Tuesday. And fantastic Game 1 of this final. Coquitlam comes away with a 7-6 win. It's tied 5-5 about 6 minutes into the third period. Mason Loma and Matthew Dane scored to put the Adnax up 7-5. The extra attacker Jet Clausen scored for Victoria with 35 seconds, but they just couldn't find the equalizer. So Coquitlam takes game 1. Thursday was game 2, not quite as close. The Shamrocks actually came away with a 15-7 win to tie up the series. And then last night, Coquitlam came away with a 12-8 win. So they're now up 2-1 in the best of 7, with game 4 actually going on tonight. I don't think it's quite started yet. Just let me double check here. Hasn't quite started quite yet, but tonight will be game 4. Wednesday, game 5. And if needed, game 6 is next Saturday and game 7 on next Sunday.
Right.
Over to the Alberta Junior A. Quickly, we have our final set by the looks of it. One game was on Friday with the Calgary Mounties taking a 14-10 win over the Edmonton Miners, so they win that series 4-1. So your finals for the Alberta Juniors will be the Okotoks Raiders against the Calgary Mounties. I have yet to have a schedule on that one. I thought maybe I'd quickly go to Senior B as well, if you don't mind, Gary, because I'm sure people are looking into that. The West Coast Senior Lacrosse Association, so that's Senior B and BC. Their finals get underway this week, and that final will be the Ladner Pioneers against the North Shore Indians. And in Alberta, the Senior B, I don't quite have a schedule yet, but the finals will be the Rocky View Knights versus the Edmonton Miners.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, of course, Ladner. Of course, Ladner. Always Ladner.
And I mean, we know what kind of program the Senior B Edmonton Miners have, so.
Interesting.
Not too many shocks out west, I don't think.
Not really, no. OJLL, we're into the finals finally. And it is St. Catharines and Whitby. And this is going to be one banger of a series. This is going to be one heck of a series. Game 1 went the other night, and St. Catharines came away with a 7-4 victory. But that's not to say that Whitby didn't put up a heck of a fight. In fact, after the first period, Whitby was up 3-1. Matt Suter, Bryson Lamoureux, and Blake Mason had goals for Whitby. Ari Steinhaus had the one for St. Catharines. The problem Whitby had was the second period. Jameson Bucktooth took over. He had 2 goals and an assist in that period. St. Catharines outscored Whitby 4-0 in the second period, wound up going on to win 7-4. Stars of the game were Jameson Bucktooth as the first star, Simon Marshall is the second star for St. Catharines, and Ty Wilson, the third star for the Athletics as well. Game 2 goes on the 3rd, so tomorrow. And that'll be over at Iroquois Park Sports Center in Whitby. Game time is 8 p.m. if you're looking for something to do. Should be a great, great game. And I'm looking forward to a really, really fantastic series. And, if they play all 7 games, it's going to be all 7 inside a week. So by the 11th, it's done. So look out. Not a lot of rest spot for them. Moving to Ontario Series Lacrosse. We're into the finals now. Six Nations was able to dispose of their competition in 3 games solid. They took rid of Hamilton 3-0. The Brooklyn Owen Sound series started off with Owen Sound winning game 1 in overtime, 13-12, on a penalty shot of all things. Too many men. The irony of it all was that all game long, Brooklyn had been on the referees about calling it on Owen Sound. And it got called on them in overtime. And Michael Blameyers made no mistake. And they won 13-12. However, the next couple of games, totally different story. Totally different story. Landon Sinefield was the big number in game 2. Brooklyn evens the series with a dominant 14-5 victory over the North Stars. Owen Sound opened the scoring, but Brooklyn responded with 5 of the next 6 goals to take a 5-2 lead after the opening period. Landon Sinfield paced the early attack with a pair of first period markers. Carson Christie, Zach Kerrigan, Quinn Highland also found the score sheet. Third period belonged entirely to the Merchants, who shut down the North Stars while adding 4 more goals to complete the convincing win. Sinfield delivered one of the most dominant individual performances of the postseason. He erupted for 6 goals, while Ryan Langill recorded a hat trick. Christie added a pair. Lucas Littlejohn quietly orchestrated the offense with 8 assists. We're going to hear a lot of his name in the next couple of recaps. We move into game number 3, and, it is becoming the Lucas Littlejohn show. In game 3, Brooklyn rallied from a 3-1 second period deficit to score 11 of the next 12 goals, defeating Owen Sound 12-4 and taking a 2-1 series lead at that point. Lucas Littlejohn put on a spectacular offensive display, scoring 5 times. Zach Kerrigan added a hat trick, and the Merchants turned this into a runaway victory. Thomas Kajak was stellar in between the pipes. He stopped 37 shots. He earned third star honors, while Brooklyn's transition game and relentless pressure just overwhelmed North Stars over the final couple of periods. Riley Thompson led Owen Sound with 2 goals and 2 assists, but the Merchants carried the momentum into Game 3, which was played this afternoon. And, well, this was a really tight game for a while. But Brooklyn punched their ticket to the finals with a convincing 9-4 victory. Tightly contested opening period. In fact, it was tied 2-2. A late goal from Brooklyn made it 3-2 into the intermission. But the second period, Brooklyn took over. And they scored 3 while completely blanking Owen Sound. So it was 6-2 heading into the third. Littlejohn continued his dominant performance with his 4-goal performance. Zach Kerrigan and Parker Pfeiffer each had 2 goals. And Thomas Kajak, again, solid in between the pipes. Owen Sound, they were outshot 44-39 in this game. Riley Thompson again scored twice for the North Stars, but Owen Sound couldn't overcome Brooklyn's balanced attack. And Brooklyn now heads on to face the Six Nations Rivermen in a repeat of last year's finals. This should be a barn burner. If you have an opportunity to go to either the ILA or to Iroquois Park, this is going to be one hell of a series. Remember, only one team gets in since it's in the West this year. So winner of this series is the OSL champion and is headed off to the President's Cup. Frick is with us. Warriors in 6. I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. We're going to get Mr. McMichael on with us in a few minutes, and we'll see what goes on with there. Mike, why don't you just start us off with a little bit of PLL, if you would, sir.
Will do. Friday night opened up with the Redwoods and the Chaos, and a desperate Chaos team. It was began the weekend in last place in the West, and Chaos come away with a 12-10 win. Game was actually tied 4-4, or looked to be tied 4-4 going into the half. Henry Bard hits a 2-pointer to beat the buzzer to give Carolina a 6-4 lead. From there, they outscore the Redwoods 5-3 in the third, and managed to hold on in the fourth for the win. For Chaos, number of goal scorers, you had Shane Knobloch, 2 goals and an assist. You had 2 goals each from Teddy Malone, Chad Palumbo, and Jackson Eicher. Ross Scott, a goal and 2 assists. Owen Hiltz had a goal and an assist. Bard, again, the 2-point goal that ended up being the difference. Blaze Reardon, 17 saves in net. And this might be a first. I'm still trying to track that down. Chaos won this game without winning a face-off. I believe this is probably the first game in PLL history, at the very least, where a team has won a game despite not winning a face-off. So definitely saying something on the other side for Redwoods for TD Erlin. 24 of 24 on face-offs and 24 ground balls. I'm guessing that's probably a PLL record as well for a single game. Ryder Garnsey, 2 goals, 2 assists. He had a hat trick from Dylan Malloy. Chris Kavanaugh, a goal and 2 assists. Finn Thompson had a pair of goals for the Redwoods. A goal each for Sam English and Josh Balkersell. And you had Andrew McAdory, Brian Tevlin, and Aiden Denenza each with an assist. But Dylan Ward making just 8 saves on the night. And I believe this loss actually dropped Redwoods temporarily into last place in the West.
Right. Let's keep going, Mike.
I guess might be my game. The next one, the Cannons against the Archers, and I guess it was a big third quarter that lifted the Cannons to an 11-7 win over the Archers. 6-4 at the half for Boston. But then they get a 3-0 kind of shutout in the the third quarter. And then the Archers did outscore Boston 3-2 in the fourth, but just kind of came up a little bit short in that one. I guess kind of the big thing to look at here was Andrew McMeekin was 15 for 21 off the face-off over Mike Sisselberger. So a little bit of a shocker there. In goal, J.C. Hagen-Botham, 11 saves, a 61.1% save percentage. Brett Dobson, 12 saves for 57.1%. So a bit of a goaltender's duel there. And really when it came down to that fourth quarter, the Archers went on a 3-goal run. Sam King and 2 from Connor Fields brought them within 2. And, of course, that 2-point goal, anything happened at that point. But Brian Kelly scored 2 late ones to kind of pull things away and give the Cannons the win on that one.
All right. Let me hold off on that one a second. I got a special guest with us just to jump on in with us. And, of course, it's everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Frick. Brian, good to see you, brother. How are things going? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? There's a timeout on the field.
Out on the field.
All right. All right. Why don't we keep going then, Shawn, until Ryan gets himself settled ahead?
No worries. So I guess for the Cannons, Coulter Mackesy, bit of a bounce back game. 2 goals, 1 2-point goal and assist for 5 points. Brian Kelly, 4-goal performance. Mikey Westshire, 2 goals. Also got a goal and assist from Graydon Hogg. 2 assists from Marcus Holman for the Archers. Connor Fields, 3 goals, 1 assist. They also got goals from Aiden McIntyre, Mac O'Keefe, Sam King, Trey LeClaire, and Leo Johnson with an assist for 1 point on the Archer side. And I'll put it a little down for
I'm ready for you.
Yeah. Look at the merch fella. Look at the fella repping the merch. I got my Gary Shushevsky hat on today. You see that? The shark. There's a name for you. Hey, Shawn, I'll believe you're a WLA fan if you can tell me who Gary Shushevsky is.
That I do not know. So I will say that I'm not.
Gary, I don't know if this is still true or not, but Gary Shushevsky at one point was the all-time single game points leader in the WLA. Had 9 points in one playoff game or something. He was he's just a weapon of a human being.
Now I know. Awesome.
Gary, were you at the game last night? I didn't see you.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't there.
That's why you're making up for it with all you. That's why you're making it up for it with all your merch and stuff.
Somebody had to cover the. Somebody had to cover the Coburg game too, right, for MSL. So that was me.
Nobody in the world knew what was going to happen there. Owen Sound was going to show up with their 7 major series guys that they've had for the last 2 weeks. and then there's 13 junior B guys and 2 senior B call-ups, and they were going to lose.
Yeah, and it took until the third period before it happened. That was the thing that kind of amazed me.
Here, you're going to know the answer to this question, and I was sitting there at the festival yesterday, and I ran into Glenn Clark, and I've been around the Lacrosse Club, for all you politically correct people, but I've been around the Reds since 1988. I can't ever remember them not making the playoffs.
Neither can I.
Like, do you honestly know the last time the Reds didn't make the playoffs?
Oh, God, because if it wasn't anywhere between 2000 and now. No. God, no. I don't. And like I can't even think of one between 80 to 2000, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, like I don't think this has ever happened before. Is the Reds not being in the playoffs, and 8 times out of 10 they end up playing Peterborough in the first round.
Yeah.
Like this is absolutely crazy. The fact that the Reds aren't going to be in the playoffs.
It's insane. It's insane. And well, here's your other way.
No.
We should have been expecting that comment.
I would have expected nothing different.
Yeah. Shame on us for not anticipating that comment.
Yeah.
I kind of knew it, right? But
and if the Reds were in the playoffs, we would have had a go Lakers go, or a go fucking Six Nations go, Chiefs go, or whatever it was. Like, people just love to hate on me nowadays, man. It's fantastic.
Well, it's a man, controversy creates cash. I remember that book out there, and well,
it's like it's. And I'm here for it too, right? Like I'll run into. Again, obviously, I'm a lacrosse rat, so I've been at the festival since probably the 3rd game since it started, right? And you get the good people going by it, telling me they love me and I'm hilarious and this, that, other, and then you'll get the odd just hammering. Oh yeah, you're an idiot, eh, McMichael? I'm like, yeah, I know. Like I'm well aware of how much of an idiot I am, and then like these people like want to stir it up, and like sometimes like people ask me like, why do you even go back and forth with these guys on Twitter or Instagram? And I go, because like 9 times out of 10 I'm sitting in the garage. I either got a pen or a lefty rolled up beside me, and I'm killing myself laughing while I do that. Like it's fun. It's fun for me. It creates attention on the game. Obviously, we all love the game that we're covering, right? Because we wouldn't put this much effort and this much. Let's call it spade to spade here. None of us are getting rich doing this.
No, and all the time and effort that goes into it as well. But I want to talk to you about something that you guys put up. You put up that video of this official. What in the heck is going on? I got the video, right? So I have a friend of mine who was there, and a kid that I coached was actually in the box at the time too. So I'm getting all these texts going, frick, like, you got to come over to pad 2. Like, it's getting crazy. So I walked in to pad 2 at Iroquois Park. Literally hasn't just ended. Okay, but from all accounts to talking to people there, ex-NLL player Jeff Whitting, a good friend of mine, is one of the coaches for Pelham. And he had just said that there was a little bit of a scrum. A kid went to run around the referee, and he just grabbed him and hammer tossed him into the box. Yeah,
and so the kid that I coach, who was in the box at the time, he goes, he just bounced off the glass and came right back.
He did.
And then the referee grabbed him and he threw him in again. Like, I'm laughing. By no means do I find this funny, okay? Like, I'm laughing because it's absolutely ridiculous. But like, have you guys, like, you've obviously seen the video. Like, it's like, do you watch like the Olympics javelin or the discus thing, to where like they spin around and then throw the thing? Like, that's what this guy did to this kid. And everybody's freaking out online that he did the next game. And my kind of rebuttal to that is, we all jump on the OLA and chirp and comment and have our opinions about the OLA because they're so reactionary.
Yeah.
Well, like again, especially me, like I'm gonna call them out every single left, right, and center way.
Sure.
If they're not so reactionary now and they allow the referee to finish out the day because there was only one game left and he kind of mailed it in at the time, but I got to give them their kudos for actually like stepping back and spending. I've talked to a couple people and they spent the evening trying to figure out what to do with this guy, and they sent him home this morning. And with all the coverage that it's getting, like you can't expect to ever see that guy ever again, right? And nor should you be allowed to ever step foot on the floor, ice, badminton court, well, whatever it is, free or be around children ever again. But like, I was fucked up. Sorry for swearing. That was like,
right? Yeah.
Like,
it's something out of a cartoon, throwing it runs right back. It's just
again, like that's I'm being dead serious with you when I say, like, if you go back and look at the video, there's a kid standing by the door in a blue t-shirt. Well, that kid plays for me. I know that kid very, very well. I've known him for a very, very long time. Not going to go ahead and say who it is because his mother would probably give me shit. But I've known the kid for a very, very long time. And he goes, man, he didn't go back out. Like, he bounced off the glass and came back.
Yeah.
Like, it was like WWF off the turnbuckle type stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other thing I want to bring up with you is, and Matt just brought this up in his comment too, is what's going on in St. Catharines? What's going on with the OLA and?
Well, I again, like we're. Oh man, I don't know even where to begin with this. I could ramble on for 45 minutes. Okay, so number one, and I've said this, I fell victim to it last year. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, native or not, for a U15, a U17 team to have 7 Americans on it. When the OLA mandated at the start of the year, they didn't want to displace local kids. Okay, I have it in writing. They tried to freeze half of my U17 roster because we wanted to go somewhere else because we didn't have the numbers to compete this year. But they didn't want to displace local talent. Okay, so for them to have 7 guys on a St. Catharines team addresses with a U17-2 team, so that means that there's 7 kids with a St. Catharines address that have been displaced for kids with American addresses after mandating that you don't want to displace local kids. I find this
right. You're breaking up. You're breaking up. I can't hear you. That sounds better. Talk to me.
Are you there?
Yep, there we are.
That's better.
Okay. So in the last couple hours, there's been an email sent to Loose Mesh from a parent from a rival organization who had emailed the summer games and asked how can you do this to these kids? And now let me start this off. This email isn't from the St. Catharines parent. This isn't from the Orangeville parent. This isn't anything. Okay, we'll touch on that in a second here, okay, Matt? That has stated from the Summer Games Committee that they had no mandate that said that these players can't play. It was the OLA who had decided it. We haven't gotten word from the OLA yet. But going on to the address, apparently it stated it didn't matter where you're from, border, no border, this, that, or the other. No non-Ontario resident can participate in the Ontario Summer Games. One side saying that the Summer Games didn't tell them, the other side saying that we told them and they just decided not to tell anybody. I think the fault falls on 100 different feet here, right? Let's start at the top, the Summer Games. Why isn't this written anywhere that these players or non-Ontario residents can't play? Okay, if the OLA is sending its teams to this event, you have to know the guidelines to know what your teams are going to be playing. Like, that's ridiculous, right? And thirdly, like, the managers of these teams need to be looking into the rules of the summer games, because there's a lot, right? Like, there's a lot. These are 14 and 15-year-old kids, maybe some turning 16, that are staying in college residences, minimal adult supervision, basically have the run of the roost, right? So there's a lot of rules and regulations and stipulations that you have to kind of stay within in order to participate in this event. Trust me, I know. I went to it and we broke all of them. Okay, so for these managers not to know going into the season that, hey, my American players can't play, for the OLA not to tell these teams that, hey, maybe you guys want to look at these things, and for the summer games to just, like, again, like, we got to do a little bit more digging into all of these emails that are just full. I'm telling you, man, that, like, I don't envy the person who runs the loose mesh or Instagram and Twitter and all that shit right now, because, like, that, from what I'm hearing, it's just message. People keep telling me, hey, I'm messaging you on the Instagram. I'm like, I don't want any part of that, right? Like, I have a hard enough time running the frick Instagram. So all of these things, it's just like, it's a conglomerate of errors. Why can't the Press Cup be hosted by a Canadian team in the States?
Well,
I have no idea. That's a CLA thing. It's not a frick thing, fella. But so let's go back to there's no borders in lacrosse, but there is within the OLA.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, my kids in Northumberland this year wanted to branch off because we weren't going to have enough numbers to field a competitive team. Well, I can't just go wherever I want because now we don't have a team. I have to go to the next border center and the next border center. This American rule, they can just come up and go wherever they want because there's no, as they say, there's no borders for them. You can drive through 2 lacrosse centers, like some of these, the Native Americans that they have on the St. Catharines, they drive through 2 centers to get to St. Catharines.
Right.
Why don't they have, like, that's, I want them to play. I want the game to grow. I want more people to come up. Again, like, you're not going to meet somebody who loves this game more than me. And if you do, I want to meet them because I would love to have a conversation. I love this game more than anything in the world. But I have to, or
your sound again. We missed the last point. Your sound went kind of messed up again. Fix your microphone.
Yeah.
All right, I think that'll work.
We good?
Yeah, we're good again. Yeah, Matt.
Okay, I know, but like from native standpoint, I'm not sure the context of that, sir.
I'm really here.
Not sure.
Yeah. So what are we going to do? What can be done?
They should be able to come up and play. But by no means do I want to limit a kid to come up and play. You just have to. You should have to go to the next closest center, like all of these other kids do. Not just get to go to St. Catharines because they're really, really good.
Right. So you're talking
because
the same set of rules for everybody is what we're doing to get.
Well, then number one, yes, right, and then number two, you explained to me why a junior lacrosse team can only have, I think it's 2 or 3 just at one point, but a U15 or a U17 team can have 7.
Right.
How does that make sense?
Because he will have a good talk with you as well. That's for sure. Matt's an excellent lacrosse guy. I've known Matt for many years too.
I like Six Nations. Is he buying chicken wraps? Is what I want to know. Matt, okay, I promise. If you're buying chicken wraps, I'll come up. That's a couple logs of Skull Straight I can grab while I'm up there, and we'll chat over chicken wraps on you.
That sounds like a plan.
Listen, I think that'd be a great conversation because so again, me being even farther outside than any of you guys, it almost sounds like where Frick's coming from and where Matt's coming from, almost like opposite sides of the same coin with these rules and the lack of clarification and communication, seemingly from what I'm perceiving on the part of.
There it is.
It seems like the OLA is I'm trying to tread carefully here. I know Frick, not tread as carefully, but it seems to me like the OLA is having the issue of either not clarifying or not communicating or both. How teams should be building themselves and how players from the states, native or non-native, can participate or not participate. If the goal here is to keep teams.
A, that makes the most sense scheduling wise, and B, that's what it's been for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And 2 weeks before the qualifiers, they decide that it's only going to be 10 games. Right? Okay, so that's whatever. If I'm a Peterborough parent or I'm a Peterborough coach, yeah, I'm pretty pissed too. Does it affect Frick? No. So do I really care that much? No. I find it ridiculous. I've had so many conversations with copious amounts of lacrosse people and hockey people and the hockey people. I go, imagine going to the Red Hat tournament. You don't qualify. You don't know how many in your
Once again, your sound. Still getting a clicking. Right. And now you muted yourself.
That's Peterborough out of a qualifying spot, more or less. Okay. Well, what if they had have qualified? Non-Ontario residents can't play in the Ontario Summer Games. I've been told 90% of that Kanawaki team's address was based out of Quebec. Right? So again, it's the lack of transparency and why they're doing things. Have you, Gary, you're as entrenched in the OLA as I am here. Have you heard anything about the commissioner who went into the bench in Clarington at a U11 game?
I heard pieces of it, and I heard it's hearsay. I heard nothing from OLA. I heard nothing from.
Oh, there's no hearsay
from any of the people involved.
There's
bits and pieces.
Yeah,
and
there's no
trying to make the story that makes sense, right? But,
there's no hearsay about it. There's video.
Yeah.
But has anybody heard about the suspension yet?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a word.
Nothing.
Not a word.
And this is the commissioner of technically the OHL.
Right.
Right? But we haven't heard anything. Like, now again, I've heard something. I kind of know what it is. And it makes me puke in my mouth every single time I think about the lack of suspension. Right? But it's the transparency that nobody seems to get unless you know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Well, that's it. That's been the argument forever about the lack of transparency in every event. And it goes back way further than that. But, it comes back to, again, the Brampton issues with everything that went on there around COVID time. It goes further back with some of the other crazy suspensions and other thing that came out of nowhere. And then, that everything is done hush hush, and then this is what it is, and there is no rebuttal.
And they don't give you a chance to, because they don't want the pushback. They just want people who are going to fall in line, and they don't want people like me with an opinion, asking questions, pushing narratives, because they're afraid of what's going to come out. And it doesn't make sense, because and again, like I said, it been at the festival since probably the third game that started.
Yeah.
They do a great job most of the time.
Yeah.
The festival, again, like I said this in one of my last videos, I don't understand how these people do it, because it's such a big event put on so many different platforms with so many different moving pieces. And I'm telling you, again, I apologize for swearing. Some of these parents are fucked. They are bad shit crazy, some of these parents. And the powers that be, they have to consistently deal with it, and all the kudos in the world and all the respect, but it's just the simplest things they consistently mess up, and none of it makes any sense.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, especially with the festival, because it's amazing of how many go in, go out. If you just sit there in the lobby and just watch gang rings of teams go in, gang rings of teams go out, different things here, merch things, different things here, booths over here, other things going in here, your main event games over here, and everything works.
Right.
And you very seldom do you see something go boom there.
And what do you think would be harder? Organizing this 10-day shit show, or just sending out a tweet about the suspension for the Junior A commissioner? Like, just send out a tweet. Tell us what it is. But again, like, no, I don't want to say it because I'm going to bury myself.
No, I'll say it. I mean, man, I think Matt's hitting the nail on the head. Accountability. You know, from my perspective, again, I'm way on the outside. I've been up to any tournaments or games or anything, north of the border. I'm not anywhere near even, the reservations in upstate New York. But I'm starting to lose count on my fingers and toes of how many instances I'm seeing of teams and coaches. They send an email at the start of the season. Hey, can I get clarification on whatever number of players I can have, number of whatever, players outside of my area that I can have, number, whatever it is, I'm just spitballing here a bit, number of native players I can have versus, non-native on a team, if that's a thing. I'm seeing these, I'm seeing stories of, I sent an email before the season started asking for clarification. Someone responded saying, yeah, you're okay. Whether it's just, and get it communicated to everyone.
The important things for sure. Right. Like, again, like with this whole, whatever you want to call it, with the summer games and with the number of qualifying teams, you're going to hope the smarter heads are going to prevail, and you're going to go into next summer with a set amount. Again, I don't want to discourage them from coming up and playing, but there has to be, if there's going to be a limit in junior, there has to be a limit in minor lacrosse. Like that to me just seems like common sense.
Right.
Anything about Americans. If you live, I have a friend who lives in Nashville, Tennessee, and him and his wife are both Canadian. She grew up in the beach. He played junior for the beach, and they bring their kids up every summer. They live in the beach and they play for the beaches. Okay, I'm pro that, very, very pro. Okay, but for the Burlington Blaze, who won the U17 division at the summer games. Congratulations, by the way. How cool of an experience was it for them to go and stay at Waterloo or Laurier University and hang out with all the different athletes and go and walk the little circle thing that they do for the opening ceremonies and get a summer games medal, because I did it and I won it, and it's cool as shit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like the same thing out here with Saskatchewan. I mean, like, any kid who participates in Saskatchewan summer games, like, for them, it's a big deal.
Cool as shit.
It's a big deal, yeah.
Right? So, like, again, like, to the kids who didn't get to play from St. Catharines and the one who didn't get to play for Orangeville, it sucks. I get it. I'm on their team with this. That was absolute BS. That somebody's parent went in to register them on a Tuesday and found out they can't play in the tournament that starts on the Friday. That was terrible. But the same thing is there had to have been community. Like, we've been talking about this stuff for 4 months. I've been thinking about it since this time last year. You're telling me nobody came to think about the rules and the roster guidelines to the tournament?
Yeah,
because I know if my team was going to be in it, I would have been looking at how many kids can I bring with me from my U15 team just in case something happens. So right then and there, I'm reading the roster rules and regulations. How do you it just none of this makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to jump in with a couple of things. First of all, thanks, Matt Martin, for all the comments and for your perspective. So I appreciate that. Stranger things have happened, but maybe someone's unhappy that Kirsty Coventry is now leading the IOC when she wasn't expected to win that election, and that someone's putting up roadblocks to force her out of the presidency. It could be. I mean, with the way they've moved and the things we've heard in other sports in past Olympics, it would not surprise me that someone's just trying to put up roadblocks just because they didn't win the presidency or the candidate they supported in the last election for IOC president didn't win.
We're talking about the second most corrupt sports agency behind FIFA, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
So then my line of thinking isn't that far fetched.
And we're also talking about we're using the letter B here for billions. The amount of money that Josiah has, correct?
Yep.
So corruption and billions.
Funny how that all works together, eh? Yeah.
What do we really think is going to happen here, Mikey? He's going to cut a little bit of a check to so-and-so's personal bank account. We're going to get a little slipperooski and, bingo, bango, there they are. Come on. That's like the European Soccer Federation right now saying that they're not going to go to the next World Cup. How much money do you want? That's basically what you need to say.
Yeah.
How much money do you want? Let's make this happen. It's a trial sport. It's not like it's getting the coverage on NBC that running, javelin, high jump, track and field, beach volleyball, beach soccer. It's not getting that kind of exposure.
Break dancing, for crying out loud.
Break dancing, it's not getting that exposure. It's going to be on Ocho, the Cinco, whatever, ESPN 8. It's going to be on at 3 a.m. It's going to be on TSN plus, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, Uncle Joe's going to grease a check. Everything's going to be okay. There's no chance that they're not there. And if they're not there, there's no chance that the top players go, because you're going to get blackballed when you come back. Like, these guys in our game have too much respect. They're all friends. Nobody wants to insult anybody. Nobody wants to offend anybody. There's no way that it doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're going to mention the Rabels. I mean, between kind of check with, Joe and, just the influence that the Rabels have. Yeah.
I want to touch on one more thing while I got you here. And that is WLA and MSL. And for the first time now, it's in the regulations now. There is no type 1 and type 2 category. So there is no 3 players going on any Western team to come here. Remember all the nonsense 2 years ago? Ridiculous. Where they were disallowed in the air and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, again, we're gonna get the old heads that said it's been a year, been a rule since 1952 or whatever it is. It's ridiculous. Like, it's the West has just as much money as, maybe not Six Nations. Coquitlam has just as much money as Brooklyn. Maple Ridge probably has more money than most of the teams in Ontario. start buying guys again. Start producing your local talent. The way that they get to protect guys out there, I think, is better than here. It's a territorial one, not a where you played one.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's going to help out a lot. You're going to see guys like Cody Malowski, Jack Kask, them end up in their hometowns and into the Maple Ridges. You got your studs that are going to stay home in Coquitlam, and they work together better than we do in Ontario as well. You always see a number one goalie going to a perennial powerhouse. You always see a big name player going to perennial powerhouses, right? So this whole picking a guy up who doesn't play for you thing, like I thought it was ridiculous. I 100% commended Delbs for not going to New West last year.
No.
100% commended him. As soon as somebody came across my phone and said, "Hey, did you hear Delby's not going to New West?" I called him right away. I said, "You're the man. Like, right on. Good job. Like,
yeah.
Come on." It makes it rinky dink at best.
Right.
At best.
Now, I want us to touch upon the OJLL and Whitby. Now,
Okay, so
they played their hearts out in game one. Had a bad second period, but they played their hearts out.
They had a great 20 minutes. Great 20 minutes. Right? And that's going to be – you seen how that 20 minutes went for Whitby, and they track meted it. Track me. And Whitby's dominant between the lines. Right? St. Catharines likes to run, but they really only got Ari Steinhaus and a couple of other guys back there that want to run consistently.
Yeah.
You got 4 guys off the back end that are gone for Whitby every single time. Right? So if Whitby can get that into a track meet, I'm on record. Excuse me. I'm on record saying Whitby in 6. I've said it everywhere I go. Whitby in 6. If St. Catharines can keep the game in the dirt, like they did for periods 2 and 3, and they can control offensive sets, and the ball can sit in Zach Toll's stick for 10 to 15 seconds, and the ball can sit in Jameson Bucktu's stick for 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, he was a killer. Yeah.
Rozon can pull those from the out. Like, that kid can shoot the piss out of the thing. Yeah. He can pull the ball from the outside. Pilon's kid, if he can control the dots, right, that's where this series is going to be won or lost. And mark my words, you're going to see a completely different Whitby squad tomorrow night at IPA.
Right. You're going to be there tomorrow night. Yeah, you're going to be there.
100. I might get there at about 9 bells in the morning, Gare, and I'll be out of there at about 10 o'clock at night. All right.
Now the one thing you're not repping is one of our caps, and when I see you tomorrow, then
let's go. Yeah, I know. But I got the Kerry Krzyzewski loading. Yes. Kerry Krzyzewski, like this. They just sent me this one. This one's Fred. Is yours corduroy? Like, look at this thing. It's corduroy. Yeah, you ever seen a corduroy? Nice. Like Hammer nailed it with this hat. I'm telling you, right now. Hammer nailed it with this Kerry Krzyzewski corduroy hat.
And I got this one for you for tomorrow.
I promise you, you bring me that one tomorrow. That'll be on Thursday's edition of Frick's Walk and Talk. All right.
Love it. It's there.
Nice. Excellent.
I will be there in the daytime tomorrow. I'll catch the stuff in there for the game tomorrow night.
Yeah. So I got a nephew playing U9 for Peterborough. So they kick her off in the morning. So I'll head down for that one. And then there's lacrosse. Actually, before we go, my ex-girlfriend texted me earlier today, and she goes, "Are you at Iroquois?" And I go, "Actually, I just left. Why? What's up?" She goes, "Well, there's lacrosse there. I just figured you were going to be there." So if there's a game on it within about 45 minutes of Frick, he's normally there.
Right on. Frick, always pleasure, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person tomorrow. We'll chat more. But as always, man, thank you so much for joining us. And again, knowledge as always.
Have a great one.
Keep up the walk with Frick, man. I love it. I look forward to it.
They're fun. I try and get through one end of Iroquois Park to the other, and I don't want to toot my own horn or nothing, but I got people coming up to me, "Oh, I love it. Keep going, blah 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 blah." And then you'll see the little suits from the ivory tower just kind of glaring over, not really. You know what they say, eh? Frick off.
See you tomorrow, Ryan. Have a great one. I was Uncle Frick once again with absolute fountain of knowledge, man, and so many different topics to be talking about, so many different things to be, discussing. And the only way that it becomes transparent is if with guys like him, we're going to bring it to the forefront and actually talk about these things. And Matt, thank you again Thank you
Yes.
again for piping
Yes,
in with this.
absolutely.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Somebody
Absolutely.
should have a recording device on the table when the two of you are having chicken wraps and talking, because I guarantee you there are going to be a lot of ideas going back and forth that should be heard by a lot of people.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
just a thought there. Anyways, we were still in PLL. We had the last couple of games to do that before we get into WLA and MSL and get ourselves moving for another week. But let's finish off what we're doing here in PLL.
I think we were in Saturday.
Black
Into Saturday.
Sunday, aren't we? Coming up to Black Sunday, I can feel it. You know, it was just a wave of cool came across my body. You know, New York kind of cool. Nobody was in a New York state of mind in that game.
Yeah, well, Saturday worked out nice for you, Gary.
It did.
Pat, so
That worked very nice. And I thought maybe. And then, very, very quickly I thought maybe not on Sunday.
So, what most of us were thinking was going to be the game of the week looks like it may have turned out to be the game of the week. Outlaws getting a goal from Ryan Terafenko that held up after a review with 4 seconds left in the game to break a 13-13 tie. The Outlaws come out with the win, 14-13. Huge game for Dalton Young, 5 goals for Denver. Brendan O'Neill, 3 goals plus a 2-point goal and an assist for 6 points. Logan Wisnauskas, a goal and 2 assists. Evan Plunkett had a goal and an assist. A goal each from Nolan Byrne and, as mentioned before, Ryan Terafenko, the game winner. Huge game from Luke Weirman at the dot. He must have seen what T.D. Erlin did the night before and tried to match it. 25 of 28 on faceoffs, 23 ground balls, and 2 assists on the day for him. Logan McNaney had a bit of a rough outing, 10 goals allowed and just 2 saves. He was replaced by Owen McElroy late in the game. McElroy made 4 saves, only allowing the 3 goals to preserve the win. For the Whip Snakes, I don't know. I cannot figure out this Maryland Whip Snakes team. They had leads of 5-2, 10-4, and 13-12 with just under 3 minutes remaining in the game, and somehow found a way to lose the game. Joey Spallina, 2 goals, a 2-pointer, and 2 assists for 6 points. Aiden Carroll and Adam Patois, who have kind of had trouble finding the score sheet this season, both of them, a hat trick and an assist. So big games for them. TJ Malone, pair of goals. Rob Pennell, 3 assists. Billy Dwan had a goal. Emmett Carroll made 15 saves in the loss, and I believe that puts both teams at 5-5 now. Let me just check on that. Yeah, both teams 5-5. So if there's anything going good for the Whip Snakes right now, it's their goal differential. It's still plus 20, which will be a huge factor going down the stretch. Just to remind everyone, kind of in my caption there, goal differential is everything. And the reason it's everything in the PLL is because it is the first tiebreaker. Head-to-head doesn't matter if goal differential breaks a tie. So,
well, that's where New York is still in. See, if they can win their last game by 18 goals and get a little bit of help along the way, they can still make the playoffs.
Keep dreaming, Gary. Keep dreaming.
Hey. There's no X beside the New York name just yet. I watched 21 go the other way today, so 18 can go that way. Men can get a shutout, of course. Or they can score 37 goals or something like that. Anything's possible. Oh, yes. Dare to dream. Dare to dream. This is when you always go to. There's always next year. I need to draft a goalie. We have 5 saves today.
I believe so.
On 38 shots or something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of the next game, you talk about there was always next year. The Philadelphia Water Dogs 13-6 wins for the Cavs and clinch a playoff spot. So I'm sure Pat is just beside himself right now.
Yes, first team to clinch.
Yeah, first team to clinch
this morning, and of course he's doing the SummerSlam report on Stream Punk. So once you're finished with us, you can go across to him and catch all the to-dos about what just went on the last 2 days with wrestling. You know, CJ cursed. You know, giving monies on a pool.
So yeah, that moves the Water Dogs to 7-3, top in the Eastern Conference now, and kind of starting to pull away in that first place battle there. And huge first half for the Water Dogs, up 8-1 at the half, only allowing the 1 goal in the first quarter, and then just 5-5 each team the rest of the way. So just kind of held them off the rest of the way. And another point is Sean Byrne in goal. As you know, I know Pat brought him up last week, and you just look at his numbers: 11 saves, 73.3% save percentage. He's been a nice find for the Water Dogs. On the other side,
I was gonna say, I believe he's 3-0 as a starter now.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So I mean, man, wow. Yeah, absolutely. After a lot of question marks and the trading away of Dylan Ward and what's going to happen in goal for Philly, looking a lot better. On the other side, Bray's weird and not so great of a day. 9 saves, 42.9% save percentage. A bit of a struggle, but
second worst in the week.
Yeah. And we're talking about face-offs. Alex Stathakis, 15 of 20 at the face-off dot too. I mean, we saw in both games with the injury to sorry, it's not coming to me right now. With injuries, Justin Anasio. With injury to Justin Anasio, I mean, we're seeing it kind of as a face-off by committee, and it's not quite working well. I mean, Cass did win with no face-off wins, but the face-off is a struggle for them. Statistically, I guess I go back to, we talked about, Michael Sowers and what he's kind of been bringing to the table for the Water Dogs. He had 3 assists. There's 3 goals and 2 assists for the led team with 5 points. So again, it was a guy they need to step up, and we're seeing it now. Again, Jack Hanna. Again, we talk about all the talent. Jack Hanna, 2 goals and assist. Matt Collision, a goal and a 2-point goal. Kieran Cardle, a goal and an assist. He had a goal from Josh Yago, a goal from CJ Kirst. You're starting to see that depth now come into play with the Water Dogs as well. So they clinch a playoff spot, and I mean, we've been talking about how deep they are, and they just need it all, bringing it together, and it's starting to come together at the right time, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 6-1, I think, in their last 7. So after a 1-2 start,
yeah.
And Sauer's definitely making his case for MVP. I think this is his 5th straight game with a hat trick. So, of course, it's kind of a little bit overshadowed by CJ Kirst tying the single season goals record in this game. But yeah, the Water Dogs are suddenly looking like they're figuring it out, where no one else seems to be. Everyone seems to be middling around that 500 mark.
Right. I want to bring this one on just because, Mike, you look great. Not every week, but Mike looks great. Look at that. He's almost at 500.
Great. I look normal.
But don't look very good. Notice that we're 2019, 18, 17. You know, if you want to join us, you got to be out of 21 or 16.
The basement's nice and comfortable down here, guys. The basement's nice and comfortable.
Yeah, but you're working your way out of it, man. You did a 3 and 2 week. I'm working my way back downstairs.
And there are 7 regular season games left, so Shawn can get back to 500 before the playoffs.
And I can get back to
still. So.
Cool. Cool. And it's not, stuffy. It's cool down there. Just trolls. Yeah, well,
Moving to Sunday.
Yeah.
Take it away, Gary.
One of the reasons well, you know what? I was fairly impressed for about 20 minutes of this game. Not with the goaltending, no. But with the rest of the team and Brian Kostiuk to be precise and the game he put in. And if I don't know why the flight left at halftime and why the New York Atlas decided that they didn't want to play the second half and all the rest of it. But the first half of this game, they played a pretty damn good game, and they gave California everything that they could stand and then some. In fact, they were in the lead at one point. And I thought, wow, this could be maybe I do know what I'm doing in this pick. And then the second half happened, and it's as though they forgot what they were doing in the first half. And an entirely different team came out in the same jerseys and absolutely did exactly the opposite of everything they did in the first half. Absolutely everything they did except for goaltending. He didn't stop anything in the first. He didn't stop anything in the second. And again, the question comes up is what in the heck is wrong with him? This is a world-class goalie. World-class in NCAA, world-class in PLL, and can't stop a beach ball right now. If it came at the speed of a beach ball, he's still having trouble. He doesn't look comfortable on anything that's coming towards him. Some of those shots were things that he just snags. And he looked like he was fighting his stick, fighting the ball, fighting the air, fighting anything that was anywhere near him. And it would go in. So that makes me concerned.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I was going to say it's definitely concerning, but it's starting to feel like it's maybe a little bit of a league-wide issue. We've seen several instances now with Outlaws where Logan McNaney's been pulled for Owen McElroy. We saw earlier in the season a couple of instances where Blaze Reardon was pulled for Austin Kaut. I think one was due to injury, but another one was just ineffectiveness. Let's look at Cannons. It's not just affecting Enneman. Look who started for Cannons. JC Higginbotham, not Colin Kirst. Yep. And Colin Kirst he's had a tough time this year. Yeah. Yeah, well, Cannons could easily be 8-2 or
it's just more glaring when your team isn't scoring either. And I don't expect next weekend to be any easier when you're facing a determined team like Denver, who is determined to make the playoffs, who is stuck in this road jam with everybody else at 5-5 right now. And they are in the opportune position to play a wounded duck like New York, who just cannot seem to put together more than 6 minutes at a time without something going sideways.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't have. I mean, Atlas's second leading scorer in this game was a defenseman, Brett Makar, with a 2-point goal and an assist for 3 points.
Yeah, well, where is everybody?
Yeah.
Where is everybody? I know Teet's not there. Where is everybody? Because there's guys who are walking around in their jerseys. Certainly not playing like they did when they won a championship last year. And the only reason I can remember that now, again, I saw the ring.
Yeah, and I mean Connor Schellenberger did not play in this game, so that's certainly.
But he wasn't going to score 11 goals either.
No, he wasn't. And I mean, no points from Hugh Kelleher, no points from Levi Anderson, nothing from Danny Logan. That's definitely not typical.
Concerning.
Yeah, it is concerning.
Something is not right, and it goes way more than just playing. Something's not right there.
Even a guy like Kostiuk, like I know Gary said he had a good, start and he had the 2-point goal, but for the almost all season he's just been missing. Yeah.
Yeah. But the 2-pointers seem to be the only thing that's going for him. I think he leads the league in 2-point goals, but that doesn't mean a whole lot when you're sitting at 3-7. On the verge of missing the playoffs.
Yeah. We can already put them there. That's a
I think their percentage. I think the percent chances are less than 0.1 right now.
I kind of want to go back to Entenmann a little bit too, because we talked about is he injured. I want to go back to Entenmann a little bit because we talked about is he injured, which could be a possibility too. And I get guys are competitive and want to play, but at what point does a coach have to step in and say, like, you're hurt, you're not helping the team being on the field, you need to sit?
Well, that comes down to coaching too, but I just have a feeling we're going to see.
But Shawn brings up a good question. They left him in the whole game. He let up 21 goals.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just assuming he's hurt. We're just assuming he's injured, right?
Who's the backup?
I'm just looking at it.
Not have a backup on the roster.
We went through this the other day, right? Last week, and we found one that nobody heard of. But why are we not looking to sign somebody? Now it's too late. But just the fact of the matter is, I just have this feeling that once the season is done with, that we're going to hear it be like nuclear fallout with this team. I wouldn't be surprised to see a coaching staff gone because I don't think they have the room anymore. And I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't see wholesale changes. Trevor Baptiste is not that dominant at the dot anymore. He was 46.9% today, 15 of 32. The Trevor Baptiste I remember is 29 of 32. Something's not jiving in here. You're looking and you're talking about Hugh Kelleher and whatever, but if you're waiting for your midfielders to score Levi Anderson as well to do it, sorry. Your middies are good.
Yeah, where's your attackman? Yeah.
My attackman. We're that's the thing that's just you look at it and go, what? Xander Dixon. We couldn't have a sentence last year or the year before without his name being part of it. He had 2 points today.
Yeah, and your top two scores were a midi and a defenseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bowering.
And let's contrast that. Let's contrast that with Redwoods. Chris Cavanaugh led Redwoods with 5 goals, 2 assists. Dylan Malloy 3 goals, 2 assists. Your attackman combining for 12 points there.
Yeah.
Right. Like something's just not right. And I'd say they better fix it before it's too late. It's too late now. So I would imagine it's going to be do whatever the hell you're going to do to stay healthy and get through the next 48 minutes next week. And then we'll kind of figure it out after the season is done. But, just a note, at the end of this month, I have Cam Wires on, Star of the Bandits and the Archers. So should be interesting to talk to him about some PLL goings on as well, not only just Bandit Land. So anyways, that's the week that was in PLL, and it's as clear as mud when it comes to the playoff picture because we have this log jam. Absolute log jam,
especially in the West. The West is crazy right now. You have the Archers at 6-5, in first place. You have the Chaos in last place at 5 and 6. So just one game. And then in between, Outlaws and Redwoods are at 5 and 5, a half game back of first place. And the goal differential, again, which is everything here. Outlaws have second place in the West with a goal differential of -4. Redwoods are 1 goal behind them at -5. And Chaos, who have the detriment of only 1 game left, are at -19. So they're going to need to win that game and win big and hope that Outlaws and or Redwoods lose some games or lose big in order to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I was going to say that's what kind of interests me out in the East. When we talk about Philadelphia and they're clinching, they only have a goal differential of 4. So having that kind of a bit of a lead into first place at 7 and 3 is massive, considering that if they end up in a tiebreaker, it's going to be tough for them, considering they got a small goal differential.
Especially with Maryland with a 20 plus 20.
Yeah.
Sitting right behind them, right? So, I just look at the -29 for New York and go, yeah, that explains the whole year right there, bar none. So, anyway, that's the PLL for this week, and
just one more thing I want to add for next week. There's 4 games. We've got Whip Snakes and Cannons, Chaos and Archers, the Outlaws and the Atlas, which we already discussed, and then the Cannons, who are on their homecoming, play again against the Redwoods. And after that week, the Archers, Chaos, and Cannons, their seasons are done. They're not playing in week 13 in Philly. So we got some teams that are going to kind of be in wait and see mode. So, and I should add the last WLL game is also next weekend. And that has playoff or championship.
But you guys were also worried about the differential for Philadelphia, just in case, right?
Yeah,
they play New York in the last week of the season.
That'll boost their differential.
If that's number 1, it's going to put them in first place solidly.
It's certainly good.
And number 2, the goal differential will go from 4 to 24.
But they also play Maryland too. Remember, it's their homecoming. So
as long as they stay close there, they can make it back in spades. In the last game against New York, who was mailing it in, obviously. But anyways, let's move forward, shall we? We got a lot of senior A circuit to cover here. Heading into to major series, we only have 5 games this week only, but some interesting stuff that went on this week. Coming off of course, the news that Six Nations forfeited a game. You knew that the next game they were going to play wasn't going to be very pretty, right? You kind of knew that, didn't you?
just a little bit.
Just a bit, yeah.
Just to say that, right? Well, they played the Oakville Rock again on the Monday, and they shut them down entirely. It was a 12-6 final. However, after one period, it was 3-3. Shots on goal was 23-16 in favor of the Chiefs, but it was 3-3. But you knew that sooner or later, some of these things were going to drop, and they did. And they just seemed to take over. 8-5 after 2, still in the hunt there. But that third period, Six Nations just absolutely, they turned the tap off, and Oakville was getting nothing in the way of chances, nothing in the way of really anything, which just shows you how dominant they can be. Now, the next night, they played Peterborough in Six Nations. I also want to say that Six Nations that night had 7 of their stars out. 7 of their offensive stars out. There was no Josh Byrne. There was no Dane Smith. There was no Chris Kluge. There was no a number of them. Defensive guys were playing forward, and they won 12-6. Now, the next night, they played over at the ILA, and they played Peterborough. They had a full squad for this one, and you thought, boy, they're going to show them, and that's the end of this, and flex their muscle and, let the debate go of whether it should have been a perfect season or whatever else, and only suits can stop them and whatever. Well, Drew Hutchison in the Lakers net was nothing short of spectacular in this game. In this game, in which Peterborough, in overtime, on the hero goal of Ryan Lanchbury, 3 minutes into it, beat the Chiefs 7-6. Lanchbury in this game had a hat trick. Really, Six Nations never got going until the third, where they got 3 to tie this thing. Peterborough did a brilliant job through most of the game, not allowing Six Nations to run wild in the middle. They kept them to the outsides and kept them to the distance shots that Hutchison could see. And ones that got through, he was there. It was the best job at shutting this unit down that I'd seen to this point. And I saw a couple of pretty good opportunities and pretty good efforts. But this one would have been a crying shame if Lanchbury didn't score in overtime and Peterborough took this. Now, this changed everything, because now Peterborough was comfortably, and they clinched third with this win. So now they knew that they didn't have Six Nations first round in the playoffs, and they had to clinch Oakville in playoffs in the semifinals. So the fight was still going for who was going to clinch fourth, because it was still unknown between Brooklyn and Coburg, which leads us to the next night, in which, well, Brooklyn played Oakville. And, well, you would figure Oakville's already clinched, so, they're going to kind of take it a little bit easy and whatever. It wasn't until, almost the end of the third before Oakville got their first goal. Brooklyn went from pillar to post with them, really trying to show that they really wanted a position, but it's not really in their hands. This game of lopsided games, Brooklyn won 14-1. Really, it never was in any doubt. Dyson Williams, Riley O'Connor had a great game. Chris Boucher, another one who had a solid game. Connor Kiernan, which has me to wonder, where was this squad most of the season, because they didn't all play at the same time. Everybody was doing different things. And like Frick said, when's the last time Brooklyn didn't make the playoffs? And unfortunately, and they were doing this in the last couple of years also, is some players came in, some players went out, different players did, and it caught up this season, where they had almost enough, but not quite. Brooklyn finishes the season 10-8, but didn't have any of the tie breaks against either Peterborough or Coburg. Well, the next night, Peterborough was playing in what the game we all thought was the one that Peterborough needed to clinch, and then we'd be going on tie breaks. But since they already beat Six Nations earlier in the week, well, this game kind of was, didn't mean all that much. However, Peterborough wanted to put on a show for the home folk. And, well, with Owen Sound there, with Junior B players and Junior B goaltenders, and, ever since the big fight there, I haven't seen Cale Martin, I haven't seen Andrew Kidd, I haven't seen Gustafson, I haven't seen any of the guys involved. So I guess Steve McCarthy is sending a message to his squad, is that if you're going to go and do stupid shit, pardon my language, you're going to go and sit somewhere else. And didn't matter how good a goalie you are and how much we gave to trade for you, you're not playing. 14-2, Peterborough beat Owen Sound in this game. And really, from the moment it started, it was 7-1 after 20. Lanchbury had 4 goals and 3 assists. Brad McCulley had a hat trick. Let alone a number of things. Mike Robinson, Matt Gilray. Matt Gilray was doing tremendous things in transition, stuff that we've seen him do in the NLL, stuff we've seen him do in the Worlds, stuff we haven't really seen him do that much this year. But if he's waking up now come playoff time, maybe Peterborough is a foe in this one. Deacon Knott was in net, his first game back since suspensions. for those fights. And Lucas Johnson was in net for the North Stars, a junior B call-up. Interesting. It comes down to this game. It is Coburg and Owen Sound. And if Coburg wins, Coburg's in. If Coburg loses, Brooklyn's in. And you would think that this is a walk in the park. Peterborough just took Owen Sound to the woodshed, and this was, this is a walk in the park. Well, nobody told Owen Sound that. And although Alex Marinier got the first goal 2:20 in, Josh Rosa tied up the game a couple of minutes after that. And Brendan McLeod, he gave them the lead, and it was 2-1 after 1 for Coburg. Hang on to your heads. Caleb Brennan extended the North Stars lead in the second, a couple of minutes in, and it was 3-1. And people are sitting there going, could this be? Because remember, the only win Owen Sound had this year was in Brampton against Brampton, a team that had 3 wins this year. So, and that was before McConvey come into the lineup, and I think Triola was hurt that day. So, 3-1 after after a good chunk of the second period. Coburg comes back though. Zach Thompson pass over to Aaron Woods with a bliss, and then another Aaron Woods blast off a Briley Maxwell pass, and it was 3-3 after 2 periods. We have almost 7 minutes of scoreless play in the third period until Xander Durkatz gave Owen Sound the lead 4-3. 13 minutes to go. The Kodiaks finally wake up. They score 4 goals and are comfortably in the lead with only a little bit of time left. Kalen Brennan scores 1 with 1:05 left, but it was too little too late. Coburg wins 7-5, brushes off their brow, and now is rewarded with 6 Nations in the first round. So how does it all play out, you ask? Well, I have the answers for you. In the Coburg series against 6 Nations, in the best-of-5 semifinal, the first game goes Tuesday at the ILA. Game time is 8 o'clock. Thursday, it is the Jack Burger Oven, and that is at 8:30. They go back to the ILA Saturday evening for a 7 p.m. game. Sunday, if necessary, they go back to the Jack Burger Oven, and that would be a 6:30 game. 6 o'clock game, I'm sorry. And if necessary for Game 5 at the ILA, it would be an 8 o'clock game. In series number 2, you had... I'm sorry. I got 2 of the same here. You have Peterborough and Oakville. Well, Tuesday, you have Oakville hosting Peterborough. Game time is 7:30. Thursday goes to Memorial Center, and that would be a 8 o'clock start over in Peterborough. Saturday goes back to track for Game 3, and that would be a 7 p.m. start for you keeping score. And if necessary, we have Tuesday, August the 11th, in Peterborough, 8 p.m. start. And if necessary for Game 5 back in Oakville, it would be a 7:30 start on Wednesday, August the 12th. And that's the session up to this point. So after that, we have our finals and who's headed to the man, who's hosting the man. Who's the man? But what a time for Peterborough to peak, if you will. Talk about a newfound confidence. And they're healthy. And Rob Hellier didn't play in either of those games. Wait till they get him back in there as their quarterback. It's looking pretty good in Peterborough land now. All right, why don't we take it away with some WLA action, guys?
Yeah, you bet. Of course, we kind of already know what the playoff picture looks like heading to this final week for WLA, but we did have 4 games, I guess, starting with last Sunday. We already kind of had a little bit of an update on the score, but in the end, Victoria came away with a 15-3 win over the Burnaby Lakers. And I guess Victoria just did what Victoria does. They were up 6-1 after the first, 10-2 after the second, and it went on from there. Scoring wise, Zach Mans, as we said, top scorer this year, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Brody Wade, 2 goals, 5 assists. Patrick Dodds had a goal and 5 assists. Goal and 4 assists from Kyle Pepper. 2 goals and an assist from Chris Wardle. Frank Chiliano got the start over Chris Origlieri as they're, resting O'Rig heading towards the playoffs, and he stopped 38-41 in the win for the Lakers. Not much to speak of, actually. 2 of the 3 goals came from Jake Young, 2 assists from Andrew Cohen, and 2 assists from Sam Trumbull, and the other goal came from Alex Cartwright. Heading into Tuesday, we had Maple Ridge against New Westminster, and Maple Ridge came away with a 9-5 win. And again, Maple Ridge, the quick start, they were up 7-2 heading into the third. New West tried to come back with 3 goals late in the third period, 2 power play goals, one from Lucas Nielsen, another from Noah Armitage. Armitage had another one with just over 2 minutes left to play, but couldn't make up for the 4-goal deficit. For the Berards, Marcus Clarich, 4 goals, 2 assists. Braden Laddie, 3 assists. Peyton Cormier, goal and 2 assists. He also had goals from Drew Andre, Reese Bauer, and Garrett Winter, as well as John Phillips in goal. Brendan Humphrey made 19 of 23 saves, while Jack Kask also saw some time. Basically, they split the time in net, and Jack Kask stopped 21 of 22. While for New Westminster, 3 goals and assists for Noah Armitage, 3 assists from Will McKay. Then you had Lucas Nielsen and Owen Ron, both with a goal and an assist. And between the pipes, Ashton LeClaire was 29 of 38 in the loss. Then Wednesday night, Quitlam just came out with a 5-4 win over the Langley Thunder. Actually, Thunder held a 2-1 lead after the first, but Dadden actually played right back with a 3-1 second period to take a 4-3 lead, and they exchanged goals in the third. So Langley just couldn't find that equalizer against the Adnacks, as they just kind of looked for some type of positive out of this season. For the Adnacks, 2 assists from Thomas Semple, 2 assists from Riley Isaacs, and then goals from Clark Walter, Keen Moon, Reed, Heinz, McDonald, Carter Cook, and Lazio Henning in goal. They went with Andrew Gallant between the pipes, and he was 24 of 27. Well, for the Thunder, had a goal and 2 assists from Connor Watson, as well as goals from Jake Govett, Austin Vanachuk, and Dante Koulis. And in goal, Caleb Kahn got the call up once again. He went stopped 42 of 47 in the loss. Then we wrapped up the regular season with an ugly one. Victoria against New Westminster, and it was Victoria winning 6-1. Chris Origlieri, New West outshot the Shamrocks 51-29. Orig stopped 50 shots and allowed 1 goal in the win.
Wow.
And the only goal, New Westminster was held scoreless for 47 minutes and 31 seconds. Their only goal didn't come till 7:31 into the third period, and is a short-handed goal from Connor Cook. That's a tough pill to swallow if you're New Westminster. And quite honestly, I can't put much blame on Ashton Leclerc. He made 33 saves, only allowed 6 goals. He had a solid outing, but when your offense is just literally non-existent, I got to ask questions there. Again, Zach Mans led Victoria with a goal and 2 assists. Kyle Pepper and Luke Pilcher each had a goal and an assist. 2 assists from Cole Pickup. The Salmon Bellies, again, not much to speak of. Like I mentioned, Connor Cook with the goal, assist from Ben Schoen, and I believe Leclerc actually picked up an assist on that single shorthanded goal as well. And so, that finishes off our regular season. Playoffs start on Tuesday with Game 1 of Victoria versus Nanaimo. Game 2 of that series goes on Thursday. And then Game 3 will be on Friday. Game 4, if needed, will be back on Monday. And then Game 5 on the Wednesday. In your other series, you have... Let me just get this up here. Coquitlam and Maple Ridge, which that's the series I'm looking forward to. I think that one should be a good one. Wednesday, Game 1. Friday will be Game 2. And Sunday, Game 3. And then, of course, the best of 5. Game 4 goes on Tuesday if needed, and Game 5 if needed on Thursday.
Excellent. And like we touched upon, there is no 3 players anymore. So the team you see is the team that comes to Ontario for the Mann Cup. So let's see what happens. Let's see how this all plays out. Pretty busy week, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're right in the heart and the thick of it now. And pretty soon we'll be talking about things coming into the President's Cup, things going into the Mann Cup, and all the fun that comes along with that. Minto Cup as well, Founders Cup. Everything is coming really, really quickly. Amazing how fast this summer's gone by. We're already into August. It just seems like we're in May. But hey, here we are. Just a reminder to everybody that we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter X, we're on Instagram, we're on Thread, we're on YouTube. And please, on YouTube, tell people all about us. Let's try and build that up as big as we can, because there's so much more we can do on there. But we need to have a bigger audience for us to put the time and the effort into those things. There will be a whole lot more clips and things like that going up there and shorts. So it'll be an interesting place to drop by there, as well as all the usual stuff like the library of shows, like the interviews, like the press conferences and the fights and all the other things that we already have up there. So please give it a look. Also, we're on www.streampunkentertainment.com. Please check out that for long articles and all kinds of other tidbits that are there. All right, that brings us to final words for this week. Mike, let's start with you this week.
Guess I'll have to go to PLL. I mean, it's everyone's gonna have to pull out all the stops here in Boston. The Cannons are gonna need to specifically are going to need to try to at least split, because they're closer in goal differential to the Atlas. So,
yep.
It's good. This is the end of their season, and if they end up at 5-7, now Atlas has a shot, because their scoring differential is going to dip quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Leave the door open.
Yeah.
Shawn, last words to you.
Yeah, looking forward to like mentioned, the WLA playoffs, and especially that Maple Ridge Coquitlam series. I was just looking at it. Maple Ridge had a 13-5 record to Coquitlam's 12-6. Goals for Maple Ridge was 176 to 171 for Coquitlam. So there's not much separating these two teams. I think the biggest difference is, can Maple Ridge solve A, solve Christian Del Bianco, and B, Maple Ridge led the league with 430 penalty minutes. If they can stay out of the box and give themselves a chance to win, they legitimately have a good shot of knocking off the Adanacs.
Right. I had a good interview with Chris Levis the other day, former goaltender for Colorado, for a number of teams, really. Came in actually with Buffalo and had some time with Edmonton and with Calgary, and also won a Mann Cup with Six Nations, and also played out west and had a great storied career. For someone who was drafted in the 8th round, he had 19 years in the NLL. It can be done. Can be done. But just such a great guy, great conversation. And we talked about a number of things. Of course, we talked about State of the Union. We talked about the summer lacrosse and the differences between, of course, MSL and WLA. But it is up on our YouTube page. Give it a listen. Give it a watch, because it is a really good thing. We talked about a lot of things, including all-star games and, again, players' perspectives. He was also one of the representatives for the players' union. So, again, a different perspective of things as well. And he was able to talk about going full circle, coming in, being the guy for a while, and then being the mentor for the guys coming up when he finished off his career with the Vancouver Stealth. So it was really an excellent interview. Upcoming this week is an Argo Day. Sorry. So there is no Thursday interview this week. But over the next couple of weeks, we have part 2 of Miles General coming up. We also have Sue Redfern, former president of World Lacrosse, coming up in a couple of weeks, and Cam Wires. So this is going to be a busy month of some fantastic interviews. So you're not going to want to miss Thursdays at 4 for the next month or so. But things are really heating up. I am really looking forward to the Peterborough Oakville series. I think that's going to be a barn burner. I'm hoping that Coburg can do what they normally do in the playoffs and give Six Nations all they can handle and then some. But that we'll wait to see. Tuesday we'll get to see all that. All right. But again, I want to thank everybody for being with us, as they are every week and as we are every day, checking out everything. And as the news is always changing, hopefully we get some news from the NLL sooner rather than later about all of the stuff going on there, so we can get on with things, in the correct timing of things, something we haven't had in a few years. So that would be my prayer, if anything. But anyways, that'll wrap us up for this week. Again, thank you. Until we meet up again next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. For Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. And remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. And until we meet again next week, have a great week, everybody.